Alright. So I was watching a YouTube video. It mentioned this mountain. Given its location, I was curious what they had to say, and quickly was intrigued enough to start recording. So here's this mountain. Let's go on down. Twenty 27.1, 68.5. 68.75, 27.1, pretty much. So it's essentially where this feature is. I mean, sometimes it seems to be typically staggered from the thing, but maybe if it was just a spike directly upward, it's very much directly above. Like the energy here was just essentially, so these currents coming down here, like from here this way, currents coming out of this way came down here, like all this way, especially out of here as well. So they were even coming out of it here. So we see them coming out of it here, out of there probably, but they were probably also coming generally out of this. Like once Australia broke away is critically. So Australia's here attached to these tabs, just getting a torrent flowing into it here, as well as from down here in this direction. And so it's got a pressure from this way and a pressure from this way, pushing it out generally this way. And when it's no longer blocking it, or even maybe not even then, maybe in the process of the ammonite being built, like because over here, if we go back to this ammonite, essentially this corner is over here, and it's like this side is up this way, up here somewhere, like to here maybe, and then it's over this way to up to here, just folded in with a bunch of like none of this space. It's just folded in real close, and with this landmass up here as well incorporated. But maybe that reminds me, maybe I'll just play this. I started making a video. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I thought this was kind of a good start. So maybe I'll just play a little bit for now right here. It's just 15 seconds, so just the intro. Underground science. Vibrating underground science. Seemingly underground as the underground shows up, and then there's a flame that says currents this way flowed. And then the flame moves in the way in which the currents flowed. Let me open... what was probably something Australia related. Did I lose all that? I might have lost all that stuff. Crap. That's just... No. Find a picture. Maybe I'll just do it this way. Get a new one. Scroll in. It's probably good just to like use Photoshop as I go as like a talking screen. Here, just draw on it. That way it's a little more interactive. Okay, pretty much just boop. Okay. That's good. So we just real quick Let's make this white. Let's make this white. Okay. Oh. Oh. It's like the color was all the way over there. Okay. So here's the ammonite. In part, and then it's got this also. And here's the original nucleus. This region, the whole of it really, that's been where the currents flowed from here. So that was from North America, Central America, coming across from the Atlantic side, across under Mexico, into under Australia, under Australia here. I was like, I didn't say Florida. I won't say it. I won't name it. I won't give some like home team advantage to naming things that I know and like. Anyway, but there's a current coming in this way from Antarctica, I guess it seems, that was coming from Dwarka. So let's go. All these currents are originating in this hole punctured in the mantle here. But so I'll just point this out, is the plug that when it filled, like a hole was punctured and then this layer filled in that we see as basically the layer that it is the like substrate upon which the earth rests. That is like its spine in a way, like spherical spine maybe, that the oceanic crust is composed of. That that essentially provides like something for the continental crust to rest on. So it came out there, but interestingly, it went sideways over here to create Mount Grenard. So it's not. Although it seems like the energy should have been straight up there too. If what I'm gonna say, or it's like a lot of energy caused the straight up projection of the thing, it doesn't really make complete sense. Maybe it's just dependent on where on the Earth it is and other characteristics. But here's what appears to be some sort of like epicenter that maybe just led to a high density regions here that are upwelling, but it seems like this is more correlated to Iceland, almost like there's like a connection from here under here to over here, like a sideways venting. Okay, so let's change colors. Let's make it bluish. Bring that back here. Something kind of like a. Okay, so it's coming. It comes in here, and in here. But then once it goes through the system, effectively creating an ammonite structure, it just is like pushing the boundary, pushing it until it vents back out. Perhaps I drew that a little wrong. It vents back out, but even just like a tiny, real thin, but straight type of thing. I don't know if there's evidence. Don't know if that's necessarily the cause. It's just something I'm supposing, because it would probably show evidence. It could just be that this current coming this way, when the bond between these broke, and between Australia here, when Australia was gone, it just caused a torrent down this way. It pretty much looks like it would have flowed right there. So it probably was just this flow coming like through this way. Maybe it went down this way. So Anything going through there, I guess? Something about it made that point the most, like, where the most current went. Some reason. Probably closely related to that currents coming this way, where it, like, kind of spiraled in on it, maybe? Maybe. It looks like a bit of a, like, cross currents, because there was a strong current coming this way, but there probably is just more side currents coming, like, from from over here. There is a current that makes it through right here. This is like where it busts through. It's like, and there's a current coming through here. Maybe that's even when the earth expanded, when these two currents like severed, and this one was able to like make it past and start to fill this region, and it was actually largely this current. Or actually this current only, that was probably just part of it, like it's applying a pressure here, which is then just applying a greater pressure on Australia, which then is effectively just participating in the process, so that as soon as it broke through, it just splashes through here and just fills this region, kind of like how this series of videos is just, honestly though, because that's how it works in some ways. But then it like, it probably does kind of cut across it, maybe at a specific angle. Like, let's see, let's go back to this current. This current is coming through this way. So this is a major current coming through the nucleus of, like, through the body of Africa, across here, and just narrowing at this channel and going through this way. And it's facing currents this way, so there's definitely some more to it than I'm acknowledging or recognizing right now. Maybe it flows this way too at some point. Looks like it even starts flooding out this way when some major breakthrough happens. And then it goes this way, across here, here, and hits this location where this current's coming in, and this like intersection is, and then off of there it branches out and starts to kind of scatter and just get kind of more laminar, like it just has space to scatter, I guess, over in this region. So it's just not as like this. It's more around the middle colors, like between -50 and 50 on the intensity bar. Not really reaching the peaks that are some places. And then it just kind of more laminarly, but in that same like energetically moving at like, okay, resistance 90 degrees, okay, resistance 90 degrees, in a general trend of motion where it just spreads out. And comes across here, and it looks like it's meeting resistance over here from this current. So this current's cutting across, and it's meeting resistance in a way where this is just getting funneled, basically. We can even see it right here, like rippling in. Just a chain, dude. Holy shit. It's rippling in, kind of goes around this structure. And so that kind of goes in there too. So maybe that's part of why it's like an intersection from this way and from this way. like this flow, anything of this flow that makes it over here is going like mostly through with this little channel because this kind of blocked it off. It left behind a sort of like a large blocking body to kind of like prevent flows like directly here, I guess, in some way. Probably that would have just broken this apart. Like we wouldn't have this connection would not exist. But because of this blocking body, it allowed these currents to kind of be focused down this way when they were most active. And then coupled with this, it probably did like get funneled to here, or not here. Here too? Maybe here too. Maybe it has a role in there. Wait. I was thinking I was talking about there. Maybe that's like at the end. Like once it's too much energy, all this energy is coming across, it just boop, punctures the mantle again. And gives like a escape valve because the plug is plugged. And then it outgasses there. Where's the plug? The plug is plugged. The plug is plugged. And so it maybe it focuses the energy right there to just puncture a hole. And that hole might not have happened until like right about 66 million years radiometric dating kind of time frame, like right when everything is split apart, like just the energy to do that. And then maybe that same energy that was being focused there got kind of bounced down the wall as the earth expanded, creating little divots, like because it's a beam of energy pretty much. Just getting focused at this point that drilled into this downward into the mantle here to allow an upwelling, but the earth had already expanded, so it was at a pressure balance. So really what happened was outgassing to a degree because it was actually too much, so it allowed basically an equilibrium to come. But it bounced down the wall. This beam just is shooting down the wall then. And at some point, maybe it locks in. Like, okay, the expansion has stopped. And the beam is kind of focused there. From over there, kind of like how Hawaii. Let's just go to Hawaii. Hawaii. There's a current, that same current is cutting across here, it's cutting across here, and the collision of the two currents produces an upwelling, but that upwelling is free to move in the currents, and so it essentially moves in the current until it reaches a like node over here, or a notch. Like it moves from this notch to this notch, and then it can't move to the next notch because there's just not enough pressure moving it to the next notch. So it just kind of stabilizes there, and that's where it remains. I would say that's what's going on right there. That is where this like cross beam stabilized the Pacific Ocean pretty much by just this beam, this bone. It's like a bone of the body of the earth. It's just more dense. It's just some conduit that's connects due to just the amount of current that was flowing like this in a manner so as to just like hold the Pacific more stably open from the pressures, because essentially it's like it wants to be in equilibrium, but it's kind of excited. But it's in an equilibrium because of these types of things. Like a notch, it has a notch that it has a notch that the energetic current has just created a tie to. Okay. So with that in mind, that there was this current flowing, that definitely even is visible as like a Birkeland current again, like that kind of concept. I don't want to give just the Birkeland current concept credit to it because obviously it's elsewhere. And pardon me, anyone who is well aware of this information and who I am probably offending by speaking it into the general public. Although you probably know that that's what I'm meant to do, so maybe you don't feel that offended, but at the same time you're probably still also offended because I'm kind of an ass. Don't have to choose to be an ass, but I do. So, you know, but that's also my life where I'm like, dude, I'm fucking stressed. Anyway, besides the point. So, let's see. Currents, probably. I think that makes sense. Let's look at the oceanic crustal age. Before I get to this, there's just a little bit about this. Maybe I'll just talk about it before I move on and don't even remember to talk about the thing I was going to record about. That video is about this mountain, this volcano, which is the tallest. Let's go to highest volcano on Earth. Let's see what it says in this geology section. South America, there are about 200 volcanoes with evidence of eruptions during the Pleistocene. Very recent to very recent. So, like, right at the end of the energy flows. So, like, probably that makes sense. The energy flows of the channeling maybe finished their, like, kind of, like, receded into a final location on the outside as a like most focused point for all the currents, besides like going into the earth in other ways. Okay, and maybe that really is strongly suggestive of some certain things like ayahuasca. So let's see. Along the western coast, where the Nazca Plate and Arctic Plate subducts beneath. Okay. It's interesting though. See how it's drawn as like a plate because it's a substrate that formed like underneath the previous substrate of like Antarctica there. Like that used to be a body and it had like no substrate below it, but then like a new substrate was put underneath it and it just was beyond its boundaries throughout the entire earth to make the earth just larger and moving pieces around and all sorts of stuff, but in a general sense, like that's kind of volcanic activity is localized in 4 major volcanic belts. Northern volcanic zone, which is where this channeling flowed at the end here, right here, pretty much right in through there. Is that the northern volcanic zone, the central volcanic zone, which appears to be generally where that beam, like as the beam moved, That's definitely what this is going to be called. It moved down this coast to here, like just, but with like steps. So it's probably kind of, pardon the sound effects. Let's see, like there's probably, I bet there's less like volcanic activity in this intermediary region, like right here, than like right after the beam. I think the beam starts right here. This is where it was. When Central America was attached, it was just docked on in here. At Ecuador. And then it moved down the coast though, and so we probably see a bunch of like, so it's probably outgassing a lot. That's pardon me. Let's see. So we do see probably some like current from it, because this is the inlet. So I guess there are some volcanoes here. I don't know, or those are just mountains. It looks like those are volcanoes. Like that. That's a volcano. I don't know. There's definitely a current that just splits here, which is why these mountains are here. So I guess it's just more volcanic here. This is probably still volcanic, just not as much, or maybe more extinct volcanoes. Maybe that's why that said that. But then the beam just goes down here. Maybe that's related to why it goes like that. Oh, what? There's little waves. Look at the waves it's putting off. As it moves down, just ripples out little waves. Dendrites. So the body of something. I would say the nucleus of the crust of the earth, which is not the nucleus of the earth, which is the core. The nucleus of the crust of the earth was in Africa, right here. I would say this thing discharged through this way, right through this corner, and like was bonded energetically in some, or maybe didn't discharge, it was being discharged into as like being tapped into as a sink for this just energy to flow into, for something for it to flow into. And so it flowed across. Although it looks like it's not. I was thinking this. That's interesting. This is more from like here. Maybe this is like where the last energy of the bond broke between the two. Like as they broke. Let's look at expanding. Or maybe just Pangea, South America, Africa, separation. Images. Because they are pretty good at like just, especially this one, because it's so, it must be so. Like the whole earth is this way, where it must be so though. Where like it fits together on a smaller globe, so it must be so. But we were able to tell these two pretty well, to a point where it's established in science. But the other side, where it connects all the way around, not established. But so that means we can look to like establish science more confidently, regarding things that are more related to something like this. That's like it recognizes the truth that they were together and they did move apart. I'm just looking if I can find like the last point. It's probably down in the middle, like there. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Da-da-da. I almost need an expanding Earth map. This is too wrong. They can't. The thing is, they don't fit together on this globe size. So there's always a gap, and they kind of just choose the gap and wobble it around like that. So like it doesn't actually ever have the same thing. It's always just wobbled around because it's not even the steady thing. It's just a wobbly answer. Oh dear God. Exactly. Okay, so let's just say this thing is I mean, clearly it's some sort of lightning strike. Discharge. Maybe the energy from the nucleus just preferentially went like this way to then enter that way to go to here rather than through Africa. So it's not visible in Africa. I mean, we do see it here a bit. It's almost like an eyeball on the side. The energy is just going right into it. Right in there. I think that's it. It might have been up there. It's hard to tell because it's kind of staggered. Yeah, this is definitely above this region in this map. Whether or not it's physically there. So it's like right up. It's abutting this thing. Okay. It's pretty much causing this, so it must be here. This must be part of it here, actually. It's probably this yin-yang looking thing. That's pretty much... So that thing, okay, so that right there, I mean, maybe it discharged this way, and then the energy just went down to here, and then came into South America, which would then come in here. Kind of makes sense, like it wouldn't want to go through this resistance, it would want to go around it, so it took this path, which then started to separate here as well. But then it cut across through here. And this is sort of like an exchange, like how there's two flows at once. Like even though there's a current this way, there's a counter current of another material. Which is basically doing this. Branching out. Like a lightning strike kind of an energy flow. This is not just like water carved. This is an energy flow carved river that branches out, because then it doesn't just create the river, it also creates the dendrites. Like these structures here are not just like they're because energy is branching into the mountain chain. they're pretty much like a cathode that then an anode will dendritically branch into to provide a sort of battery. So maybe the nucleus of Africa actually fueled the mountains here, especially somehow. It seems like it because of this. Like these dendrites they just finger in, feed into these tiny channels, and then when they get to the thing that they're actually attaching to, they start to branch, to combine and create these like systems inward. I mean, cool. But the energy comes over here. I do that all the time. Change subject by saying, but the energy comes over here. Let's see. Okay, let's go back to this place. This is for sure related to the beam. Like, it's where the beam ends. It's where the beam ends. So, I was world's highest active volcano where the beam ended. Like, which is near the trilobite. This whole region. So that beam made a trilobite. There, I guess that just means there was intense energy here. There was a lot of energy flows here. A lot of energy flows here. Just crumples it. Outgas everywhere. Certainly some like features I've noticed. This probably has like a ring-like structure. Maybe there too somehow in some fashion. I don't know exactly. Maybe even waves. There may be waves again going down these mountains just like Himalayas. That sure looks like it right there. Combined with this. Those two arcs look wave-like. Let's see. Let's follow them. I mean, it kind of just follows the boundary out there, it looks like. Almost like a snake. It's like a snake again. A snake with a tongue, and then the tongue is lashing around, creating this. I just talked about that in my last video over here. By Australia. This like snake tongue creating like, and then another one here. Here's like the head again with the tongue again, I guess, and just creating space around the tongue. Like it's moving more than the head is. The tongue is not connected, which is interesting. Like the beam was. The beam was connected. Maybe that's something about the snake is it's moving forward, but it doesn't have like a like connection point where it's just fueling into to really like be at its equilibrium. Because it's at its equilibrium, be doing that, I guess. Not just become at equilibrium because of it, but once equilibrium is occurring, it basically does this. to like seize the growth and prevent contraction so that an actual equilibrium is established for a period of time. So this is a stratovolcano, relatively steep sides, more cone-shaped, formed from viscous, sticky lava. So viscosity. So just like something just thick, hard to move, but with a lot of current behind it to just move it. So then it comes out in just this tiny tube, I guess, that just makes like a point. Probably because the current itself is kind of point-like. Okay, let's go to this. Maybe we can find a good one. Green, yep. So this does look like it flowed this way, and then it ran into the flows coming out this way. Essentially, this flow came here. There we go. This is a good map to show this flow. That was coming from Dwarka, basically here, down between Africa and down this way. I guess between here, even. Interesting. Oh, this makes it way clearer. Visit. PDF, yes please. Geochemistry, geophysics, geosystems, AGU. Advanced Earth and Space Science. Seton et al. 2020, September, published October. Updated oceanic crustal age grid in a set of complementary grids, including spreading rate, asymmetry, direction, and obliquity. Our data set is based on a selected set of magnetic anomaly identifications in the plate tectonic model of Mueller. We find the mean age of oceanic crust is just after the supernova of the Earth, slightly older. So basically, after the fast supernova began, there was just a little bit more oceanic crust made than before. Slightly older, at least that was exposed on the surface. That caused additional radius to the Earth because it was flowing underneath the surface the whole time. But adding radius only when it was flowing, only when it was adding radius. Mainly due to the inclusion of pockets. Okay, pardon me. Let's just see what's up. So, that is not the same map. Present day spreading obliquity. Spreading direction. Oh, I don't know. Crustal accretion percentage on conjugate ridge flanks. Okay, let me look at that a little bit and maybe say something. I'm just thinking like the blue stuff is just like where the Pacific was really filling. It's pretty much where it was filling in probably. The more over this way it goes, the more like here the orange stuff was already kind of just before the Earth expanded. Anything before the Earth expanded was probably more likely to be in the more pressure. Like this is high pressure zone basically. And then once the Earth was expanding, it was supernovaing, so there was much space for things to flow into, so it created much lower conjugate ridge flank percentage. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure what that even means completely. What are you doing talking then? Well, I'm working alone, man. I don't see anyone being like, excuse me. Let me help. Maybe somewhat part of me people who do help and I offend by saying things like that because I know it happens and I'm rude and I'm wrong. In those cases, I'm just wrong in those cases. That's all. Part of me. At least take what you can from me and then move on. Okay, percentage. It's present day seafloor spreading rate. Okay, that's more that's what I was actually just saying, I guess. Super fast, super fast. Okay, maybe not, maybe not. Because super fast is happening in the Pacific. Ultra slow. Interesting. So this way, this is based straight up on the seafloor spreading low. Let's look up here. Notice how there's all this underwater. Like, where else is that? Where else do you see, like, a large chunk of continental crust underwater? Like, maybe this, but this was kind of accreted practically. Or no, it wasn't. It was just ran under. This was definitely added, though. All this was added. This kind of, but like next to the Arctic, there's a bunch of space up here with just water with continental crust underneath it, and it's because flows were happening there that just didn't cause above ground expansion, but they were underneath this region, just kind of flowing here. But this didn't expand. Probably because there's a pole there. This like everything pushes against it, but it doesn't really care. It just hangs out there as everything just creates a space around it in here. So it doesn't create new oceanic crust, which is what they're measuring there. That's what this is. What I was just looking at. I don't know what that was, so I'll just close it. No, that was a Mueller thing. This is what's actually being measured typically. This region is not considered really as like spreading. But it has so much current flow under it that it essentially caused it to not be able to support the upper layer, so it became more of like a basin. So it's still like it just removed the material above it to allow for current flow for an exchange between the two poles, between energetically by an electrolyte of basically the water. So there's probably was an exchange between the two poles beforehand too. I wonder if one pole was over here. Like there. What was I talking about? The tabs. Oh, lordy lord. Oh yeah, this. this. Okay, spreading rates are slow, so it just didn't spread. This is where the supernova happened, like most of the supernova expansion. So that kind of makes sense. Post, like, the fast portion, the slow portion is before 66 million years. Basically from like 600 million years to around 66 million years. Indian Ocean is on average the youngest. That was formed after the supernova on average. More so. Huh, that's weird. I haven't really thought about the Indian Ocean that much. Let's find the actual crustal age. Now I'm just looking at what else I got. Misfit. Baby, baby. What? I can just accept what it is. It is what it is. Oh, maybe I can't. Apparently I can't, actually. Some people would call bullshit on that. So, I'm just looking around. So I guess Australia was just right up in there. Somehow. And this stuff was like up in here somehow. It just seems so far, even if we don't have a Pacific Ocean, but maybe just because of the roundedness, it just doesn't take as much. This stuff maybe wasn't there. I mean, it could have been over here. It's such a wave. Like, it's so strange that it's a wave. For it to not have been created by a wave, like, to be moved in position. Like, for a wave to just happen to overlay previous things enough to make it look wave-like. Maybe if they just weren't that much like it, but, like, and that just seems like a stretch compared to that they just got moved and became a wave. Okay, so I don't know what I was looking for exactly, but this seems like a pretty good place to just probably stop, or maybe let me just finish here. We did these ones. So there's a missing section where there's not volcanoes, relatively speaking, at the Juan Fernandez Ridge through Chile Rise. Chile Rise. Almost need to go to this. It's like in Africa. Wonder if there's like an ammonite spiral here I didn't notice yet. That's kind of hidden in the data. Like Australia had. If it was, then maybe that would be the chakra. I don't know. The new chakra. And this would be like the old chakra. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it seems like that makes some sense. Like, there's probably a current coming this way. That's right, there is a current coming this way. Down here, that cuts across into Antarctica, but also in part into, like, this bottom section. I believe these two sections, like, right here, is probably where it comes in at. Maybe it even is coming in there. But essentially it's running into, the closer it gets up here, the more it's running into this current, this main current, and being pushed that way. So it's kind of, it looks like it's kind of going like that. And just out again, out again. Yeah, it's coming this way. It's coming up this way, out, this way, out, this way, out. Or, like, it's not going that way, and instead it goes this way. And probably just straight out here. I don't know. Yeah, maybe out here where it then runs up here. Or wherever out that way. With these flows, I don't know if that made sense, because it also seems like it should be, at some point, I guess that's what this is, right here. It's kind of like the boundary, or maybe here. Probably here. Maybe even that. The boundary of this current meeting this current from coming out across this way. Somewhere around here, kind of like, and maybe even coming in like waves, like it's hitting the beach, so it's starting to curl. Where it's more straight over here, then they start to curl. That seems legit. So they're hitting a current here. And basically, they start hitting a current probably around here. Is a bit of, maybe that's what's going on. There's a bit of a swirl as a result. That's kind of actually. I bet, using Hawaii as a basis, we can say that this current coming in across this way is running into that other current right about there. Oh, crazy, I found another explanation for this again. What could it be? That I really am just like able to make up anything continuously. All is one, love, and then peace. All is one, love, peace. It's all the same. None of the answers are true. They're all just overlaying answers. Wait. No. We're good. This is getting dripped off of here, but it's by this current coming this way. But the reason this even exists in the first place is because there's actually a current coming this way also. So that plays a role in that. I was just like, oh, it's just dripping. But I didn't really define what it's dripping off of. So we're good. They work together. They work together. Come on and work together. So it looks like there probably is something of that nature going on here. That maybe this right here is probably related to that cross stream that's just cutting across here. This here, cutting across, probably down to, if we just follow this corner and assume this is coming across here a bit, and out here, just coming across out here. Where was it? Down here. Something like that. Something of that nature. Or maybe it goes like there, cuts across. The ones that cut right here maybe are far enough, and then they can go here. And be in some way over here influencing this. I don't know. But it looks like this flow comes out here. It must be a collision of flows. Whew, so much going on with that one. And like this one's kind of okay. Maybe it's just the current. Two currents colliding the whole way. Like the whole way. This current and then the new expanding current are creating just this like barrier between the two. That actually looks to fit. It's pretty much where those currents are colliding. And up there. If they happen to go up there, they collide from coming down there. Otherwise, here they collide. So there's one current that's cutting across this way, falling on top of this. This even looks like a dragon, like a snake head again, with the tongue. Right here, a mouth. Lashing tongue. Although maybe it's this thing with the lashing tongue. I don't know. Just seeing things. I'm just seeing things. Who knows anymore? Comes across here. It must be that it comes out this way and then it starts coming down. The current, running into this current this whole way. I think that does actually make sense. That makes sense. That makes real good sense. And then that ties all these to current, the collision of currents. Straight up, this is just currents colliding. All these islands are just currents colliding. Currents colliding. Let's keep thinking about that a little bit. So there's current coming this way and this way. And this way, coming out, like out of the earth, even the current propagating outward. Because it was the eye of the earth there, where a gaping hole was formed. So it gushed outward. It may just be outward there, not even cross current based on this. It's just straight outward, out, just vibrating here. Like this spot vibrating, especially. Until it's like the whole earth is stable and then it stops vibrating, but the currents are not like passing over it anymore because the whole earth is stable. So there's no like deconstruction of its structure in the meantime by crossing currents, like that would have reformed it. But this one does cross, so we see all this. That's all. This one's crossing. This one like continues to split around it instead of just like going straight at some point. Maybe, although maybe not. I don't know. It does look like a spiral right there. Spiral. Like two houses, spiral. Little DNA. Oh, it does look like DNA too, right? Like that spiraling around. Something. Looks like a chain 24. C24. Single chain. Double something. Fuck. I'm done amigurumi, but I don't know terms. That's pretty much sums it up. Which that also sums it up right there too. Fuck man. This. Okay. So we got some progress. feeling confident about some of these things as being more stable conclusions. Although it does seem like you can believe whatever you want, because I keep coming up with anything that I want, practically. Although that one, actually, I did kind of explain by the up current, so I guess that's fine, but it's a little concerning when that constantly is happening. Like, okay, what if I'm all wrong and I just am, like, the destroyer of worlds by bringing this almost right-looking falsehood into reality? Speaking it, being all, like, I'll take the accolades. Well, of course I'll take the... Thank you. What's happening? The world's burning around me? And I'm at fault? Yeah. And you're saying also it's wrong? And you proved it to a point where I believe you? Fuck. You know, like, that's not optimal of an outcome, so it's certainly a concerning concern. But I wish for the best, hope for the best. Let's see, this kind of goes up this way, and doop, bounces off, maybe. Wonder... Oh. This thing is detectable all the way over here? No. That's not these, is it? Look at this. I don't know. It could be like before the eye was open. It was putting off, it was just drawing in off of a current right here. It wouldn't be visible here because this is really after. I would assume, at least. But it does look like it could be in this stuff. I think this is older. Barely. Oh, this is spread rate. This isn't across the ledge. Oh yeah, probably not then. Probably not. This whole side is pretty much younger than expansion. I mean, there must have been a current coming out this way that probably just ran up the wall. I don't know, or somewhere like across here. Maybe this right here came out here and then kind of just started to fill out this way. Like, built the boundary and then just pressed outward, like pushing against a wall. Getting space, creating like these pillars to push with. But to a point, like, this current's coming over here, so they're kind of competing for space, I guess. Like, this looks like the boundary. Maybe this way, even. Of this current that came out here. Looks like it might have also been able to go this way a bit. Which goes to Hawaii, which is interesting. So that current, this current that comes out here and kind of follows this like little path here, just, and maybe combines even with that, follows this path. Definitely is following this path. Oh, and that looks like it goes that way. That's weird. seems to be following this path. Maybe once it gets to the boundary around Hawaii, it has some resistance, but it's following this path. Generally, or this one, yeah. Yeah, like to Hawaii. So maybe feeding into it. Where it's also... there's definitely some sort of spiraling coming down here. In that same nature. Oh, look at that spiral. If you look at it kind of sideways, you see what I'm saying? Spiraling. Like a drill kind of thing. But like just a spiral. Wow. Why? I guess this current is... I'm underestimating these currents some of the times. I'm just like, there's a current coming here. It's a fucking torrent. Yeah, it's crossing this one. It can't be like it's that bad. It's just fucking torrent. It's probably was going this way. Like, it was this one going up this way. But when the earth expanded, it probably broke through this boundary and started just going this way instead. Coming here, colliding here, creating all those islands. Because, like, this was probably full. That's probably what was going on. Like, it was an exchange into here and other places, like in South America and Gurnar, where there's just an exchange of energy into and out of, and then once the energy was large enough, it started to expand, and this current then, instead of going that way, takes a new path. It almost is like a train track. It even looks kind of like one, like it was going up this way, now it's going more this way. Was this way. Was this way. Is this way. But then it cuts right across here. It just falls out into the ocean at that point. Cuts across this current that was just bouncing around out there, I guess, and into the crust of Asia underneath it. There's even like little parallel collision lines leading up to here. I don't know if they're, but that like leading up to there, and then the collision really happens and it starts to deflect. So there's this one collision point here where they don't deflect and really have like maybe even a line of collisions where certain wavelengths collide, and then the rest like bounce up, loses some energy here, turning things into like more... Probably that's what happens, is it loses some energy, making islands that it leaves behind, and then it continues on in a lower energy state where it's deflected more easily, and it goes up here, and then it hits... Basically, this is getting deflected upward, so it kind of like pivots upward here and goes around it. Around this, that like directly up, notched in connection point. Just over it, but then it hits that current through here. And it just looks like it comes in with this like shape. Something about its shape is like there, this stuff. So it must be swirling in here, around here, and then up into here, maybe? Let's see. Like the current would have probably gone here and over here to a degree. For sure. To a degree. It looks like it too. Where there's like a change of direction here. And then it goes up here, ramps around into this current, where it then is pushed back this way. then this current is not able to push out as far. It doesn't have the supporting structure there to really continue to push out. So this current is able to push in a bit here until it runs into resistance, maybe even related to where this structure starts to come inward again. It's kind of the blue. It kind of starts to come more this way, although it's still here. But let's see, this current seems to come in here and largely go up here this way. This is probably all this way. And then fan out that way. So really, like, it goes to here, where the other current's coming this way. So this current is dominant in this region, where this current fills in this region, and they fill in this whole region with collisions of the currents, creating these just spirals that point here. Here it is. Spirals. Which Hawaii is like the tip of the spiral of. Multiple spirals even. It's like connected to other things like that. It's not just connected to this current, like it's connected from this current coming here over here, feeding into here. It's connected from this current coming here and feeding into here. Probably down this way too, specifically like this. Yeah, it's this current right here, where it basically comes up here and kind of filled this region and got deflected back. It largely funneled through this region, so there's a collision of those two currents at Hawaii. On top of like this current from Australia, from down here pushing up into Australia this way. This current, this third current, is spread out here. But it must be like, it looks like we can see even from here it connects to Hawaii as well. So it has a connection point. So this is a triple current connection point, Hawaii. If not more that I don't know of. Maybe something to do with Mariana Trench. Let's check that one out. That one's coming this way. This one this way. Cuts across here. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, here it is. The side cutting across Mariana Trench. But then that one, I think, keeps going this way. That one must have been going somewhere here. I don't know. It looks like it was going into Australia. Maybe it's going right there at some point. Based on over here. This region. Because essentially it used to be flowing over here, I think, where it was connected with the core of Australia, which was there, decaying over and over as it radioactively decayed. What else? Okay, so that was pretty good. We made some progress for sure in terms of just the subtleties of currents going on through here. Yep, okay. Cool. Thanks for listening. Thanks, y'all. I don't know. Thanks for listening. I just don't know what to say. That's why I lean towards almost saying nothing. Just click end it. Just, the video's over. I guess it's over. Dude, it's insane anyway. Oh, Lord. I'm like, can't I say thank you once and, like, have it be, like, a universally applicable thing and, like, just be that way? I don't even have to say it. It almost seems like by saying it, it, like, takes away from the actual act of being it. In some ways, I know maybe if I was a little more of this and that, then blah, 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 blah. There were once. Seems legit, dudes and dudettes. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.